All right, hey folks, so as you see, another at work video while I am sitting here making rosaries and going to talk about today X-Men the animated series. Now, thing about X-Men the animated series is it, oh man, like, alright, so first off, I gotta give Sporkman Studios credit for this one because he's the one who made me think about this would be a good topic to talk about because he mentioned it on our Meeting the Minds this past week. And I was like, that is a good topic to talk about, when it comes to old comic book cartoons that really influenced the comics. Or at least, brought people into the comic realm. See, I was always like Superman, Batman, heavy DC, did not really follow Marvel. X-Men, the animated series, changed that. Now, first off the bat, let's get it out of the way. Everyone loves the intro. Everyone loves that. But the guy who did the song, one of the things he said, everyone agreed that was the right direction, but it sounded like that was missing something. And what it was missing, from what he said, was and if you listen to the song, that is throughout the whole thing, and it makes sense. It's that clash. It gives it that heavy guitar. It balances it out. It gives it that little extra pop, if you will. And that's why to this day the if you will, it's like Batman the Animated Series. The intro to that is so iconic that whenever someone hears it, they immediately go, "Ah, I know what that is." All right, same thing. And, first, right off the bat, may I say the thing I always liked about X-Men the Animated Series versus Spider-Man, which ran at the same time, I just had a bee run away from me. How dare you run away, bee? How dare you? All right, anyway. See, X-Men versus Spider-Man. See, Spider-Man had strict, they couldn't mention death, dying, or anything of the such. All right, that's why they never referred to explicitly the death of Uncle Ben. It's why, take for instance when he first, I can't remember his name. It's like Hydro Man or something like that. The dude that was water, he was basically got evaporated and everything. And the lady asked him if she was like, "Is he?" And Spider-Man stops her and goes, "No, he just evaporated. He'll be back. He'll be back." And whereas X-Men, first episode, Morph dies. Just saying. And they explicitly pointed out that Morph was dead. They all knew. Both cartoons approached certain subjects differently. And I think the X-Men cartoon really did. Once again, everyone who knows, who watches my videos and everything knows, I reference Batman the Animated Series a lot. But this is another example of the creators understanding that it's okay to touch on the subject matter, death and such and so forth, and, more adult subject matter, because of the fact that the viewers aren't dummies. When you shot it, they understood that and they respected the viewers. And that's why you had a lot of more of the adult topics on that cartoon compared to Spider-Man. Now, another thing I like to bring up when it comes to the X-Men cartoon, the X-Men cartoon had excellent art. Let's be honest. It did. It was beautiful. The X-Men cartoon was one of those, if you will, rare gems of the 90s had a lot of fantastic cartoons. Let's just be honest. From, Jump Street, the 90s had a lot of excellent cartoons. But X-Men, Batman the Animated Series, really did raise that bar to the next level and force all the other cartoons to keep up. It was Get Good scrub type deal, but for cartoons. Really was, but the cartoon variant of it. And then you have one of the biggest problems though that plagued the X-Men cartoon was a lot of a lot of the directors and everything used basically sent overseas animators and whatnot, which is why a lot of the X-Men cartoons aired kind of instead of in proper order like they were supposed to be. And a lot of us, even I've never seen it proper front to back because of that. I need to get it on DVD. That's one of the things I do want to find and just sit down and shotgun front to back with some homies. Make it like an X-Men watching party. We're gonna sit here and get through season 1, bitches. The next time you come over, we're getting through season 2. That type of deal. But with that though, that did kind of hurt the cartoon, because a lot of times you'd be waiting for the conclusion of a story and the story would have already been concluded. Like, what's going on here? This is not what I came to watch. Granted, we were kids. We didn't care. We were just happy to see our X-Men. Let's be honest. But, and like, mind you, one of the things that a lot of people, like, was worried about was, I think it was Kitty Pryde and the X-Men was the name of the 80s cartoon, something like that. And it was a flop for the most part. It did not resonate with fans, so they were worried that this cartoon would fail as well. Fortunately, it did not. It actually became an extreme hit. Like, there are those of us this day who still love that cartoon. And, this goes back to what happens when, once again, you follow the comics to the best of your ability. You follow the stories that, people appreciate. Like, by having Morph die by a Sentinel. Oh, man, shit just got real. That type of deal. And then you have, various things that happen that, if you will, really helped make the show stand out against the rest. And there's a lot of cartoons like in the 90s that tried to capture that same feeling. Like, thanks to that cartoon, honestly, I think if that cartoon hadn't happened, we wouldn't have gotten things like Men in Black. I know y'all remember that cartoon. That was another good one that really just did its own thing, but you could see the influences. They understood the right type of intro, the right tone, everything mattered. And that's something, once again, Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, Superman the Animated Series, all those, they all understood toning. X-Men just took that tone to the next level and made sure when people watched this, they knew they were watching the X-Men. They weren't watching Batman. They weren't watching Superman. They weren't watching any of the other Marvel animated cartoons. No, they were watching X-Men. I never watched Iron Man. I never watched the Hulk cartoon. I never watched any of the other Marvel cartoons other than Spider-Man that was on Fox Kids, because of the fact that they understood toning. They understood that this is not a generic cartoon. This was a X-Men cartoon. And they wanted to make sure from start to finish, you knew you were watching the X-Men. And that was one of the, I'm not going to sit there and try to do my points that you need to write in X-Men and whatnot with this, because, I am not nearly as big as an X-Men fan as I am a Batman fan. Don't get me wrong, I'm slowly looking at picking up all the 90s X-Men cartoons once I get the majority of the... first things first, I got to finish up my Batmobile collection. I'm never going to finish that. But I will say a thing I can finish is getting all the Next Generation figures that I like. I just got Locutus of Borg. I'm just saying. In the box, no less. In the box. That is a gem. But, but that's the thing. When you do these things, when you make these cartoons, you want to make sure, because you're not just appealing to kids. Yes, you're appealing to people that are going to be coming in, but you also want to appeal to the people that were already occupying that space. That's the thing that a lot of these people who get into comics today don't realize. You have to cater to those who are already in this space, because if you don't, they will leave. And if you're from that point, you're trying to rebuild a fan base from scratch. And that's not easy to do. And, and that's something that, X-Men the Animated Series understood. It was let's bring in our old fans, but at the same time, make it good enough to where we can get new fans. So we have plenty of guaranteed viewers. And that's one thing that really you have to applaud the X-Men Animated Series for. It knew its demographic. It also knew who it wanted to join that demographic. It wanted something there for, the dad that's been trying to get his kids into comics and everything, but his kid doesn't like to read. Well, toss him some X-Men comics after he watched some X-Men cartoons. Boom! Problem solved. They share in the hobby. That was one of those shows that did that. I mean, the same could be said for like Batman the Animated Series and so on and so forth, but X-Men really did that the best because Batman the Animated Series already had the 89 movie behind it. It capitalized on the fans that, the new Batman fans that saw the 89 Batman movie and Batman Returns. It completely capitalized on that. I still say, side note on Batman Returns, I will forever stand by, Danny DeVito got screwed. You cannot tell me that he can't do a Cockney accent and have done proper Penguin. Oh man, Danny DeVito would have killed it. Killed it! But, alright, I think with that I'm going to go ahead and stop blathering on about, comics I love. And as always, like, subscribe, ring the bell, follow me on the Twitters at Brainiac420, follow me on mine, yeah, TikTok, and I'm not on TikTok anymore. Holy snikes, I haven't even been on there in forever, and I still say that. Anyway, mine, Gab, Instagram. I'm not sure if I have to redo my Parler or not. I'll figure that out. I guess I haven't been on there yet. I want to see if they're sticking around or not. But everywhere else, you can find me at Bob Jones Comic Wars. All right, with that, I shall bid you folks later.